And now enjoy Through the Eyes of the Angels.
Each and every one of us has an unlimited inner wellspring of spiritual power. You have the ability to transform, create, and heal anything upon which you set your heart and mind. Join me, Sarah Hall, as we learn how to uplift all aspects of your life through spiritual empowerment. Enjoy weekly guided meditations, spiritual discussions on a multitude of topics, and a chance to call in to receive channeled messages from the angels on your spiritual journey. I'm Sarah Hall, and this is Through the Eyes of the Angels.
Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today. We have an exciting topic for our spiritual discussion today that I can't wait to share with you. Today, we're going to be discussing the divine masculine and the hero's journey. We have talked a good deal about the divine feminine here together on this show, which you can see in previous episodes if you would like to. And the divine feminine has been really a very prominent subject in spirituality for many, many years. Why, you might be wondering? Because the divine feminine has been going through an awakening or rebirth in the collective psyche on our human spiritual journey of expansion and evolution here on Earth. The rebirth of the divine feminine, that is the aspect of our collective spiritual consciousness that embraces oneness with the source of creation and thereby exhibits spiritual gifts such as wisdom through intuition, that part of us has been playing an important leading role in the dance of our gradual collective awakening as a species. This chapter of Rising Divine Feminine, as I understand it from connecting with the angels, will continue for an age on this planet. And that is a very exciting and beautiful thing. But what not quite as many people are discussing is the fact that the divine masculine is awakening and growing in the same way at the same time. When I asked the angels about this, they communicated that through the divine feminine, we are kind of leading the dance so that the divine masculine can also grow. The divine masculine is participating in every single step of this dance that's being led by the feminine, and therefore is also awakening. So imagine, for example, that you are picking up a stick in the woods. If you did this, you would be picking up the entire stick. You can't lift, hold, move, or use one side of the stick without engaging the other end in some way. So too can you not change or awaken one aspect of spiritual consciousness without affecting its whole. So first, what is this aspect of consciousness we would call masculine energy? All of us have both feminine and masculine within us, regardless of our gender. Perhaps some people really lead with one form of expression or another, but your biological gender does not determine that. The soul chooses how to express masculine and feminine energy based on the purpose that your soul has chosen as your personal way to expand and evolve during this lifetime. Masculine energy, just like feminine energy, has three aspects. We have its neutral aspects, its shadow aspects, and its divine aspects. The neutral characteristics of divine masculine energy are things all human beings will likely use to express themselves through their life's journey at some point or another, no matter who you are. These would include action, giving, building, logical thinking and reasoning, supporting, planning, organizing, being direct, finding the most efficient way forward, and distinguishing between separate forms and ideas. Now, the shadow aspects of masculine energy are things not maybe all of us would experience personally, but which are perhaps very prominent in the problematic areas of our global civilization. These include the abuse of authority, domination, self-oriented thinking that disregards or hurts others, unhealthy or fear-based competition, unhealthy domination over nature in which we might overuse or abuse her resources, or exploitation, for example. Now, the divine aspects of masculine energy are beautiful things that are necessary for the peaceful functioning of any civilization, family, or tribe. These aspects include an ability to focus on the self or the individual, to allow us to understand better who we are, or seeking knowledge, or developing a sense of adventure and discovery that helps us to explore the world. Benevolent authority and inspiring leadership. Fair and realistic judgment. Protection, encouragement, fatherhood, supporting or giving to others in a helpful way. Holding balanced responsibility for one's actions and for the needs of others. Or, in terms of spiritual practice, the divine masculine is expressed through things like deep meditative stillness or martial arts. Divine masculine spirituality is delving into the void and holding space for it in a strong, disciplined form. You're allowing the force of source energy to move through you like light moving through a clear window pane. Whereas in divine feminine spiritual practice, you are surrendering to the infinite, perhaps in ecstatic dance and expressing it through something like sexuality, music, or art. I really recommend trying both. Both modes are incredible paths to touching the divine origin of us all. According to the angels, the world needs as many of these divine masculine qualities as it can get, so as to help us heal, purge, and forgive the masculine shadow aspects. After all, if you think about it, what better way to heal abusive authority than with benevolent authority, right? And to speak a little bit to gender and cultural gender roles, at a collective cultural level, we have been redesigning masculinity and what it means to be male profoundly for the last several decades because of the growing and evolving feminist movement. And again, for now, feminine awakening seems to be catalyzing masculine awakening. Women changing their roles in the world is redefining the role of masculinity everywhere, and that's for the good. And according to the angels, the world needs as many positive, wise, paternal role models as possible to lead us forward. And honestly, it doesn't really matter whether you're male or female wanting to display these kinds of qualities, because a woman can certainly be the benevolent leader, the fair judge, the protector, or the definer of positive responsibility or adventure seeking, just as well as a man can be intuitive or nurturing, sensitive, able to see the needs of the group, understand the collective, be artistically expressive, access deep instincts, or surrender to oneness to his experiences. All of us are equally masculine and feminine, or yin and yang, because to be both of those things is what it is to be human. And according to the angels, to have a healthy, equal balance of these aspects is to support yourself powerfully on the path to personal enlightenment. And the angels also wish for us to understand that to balance these qualities equally and harmoniously at the collective, cultural, tribal, global, familial level is to support the human race on its path to collective enlightenment and world peace. So, speaking of our collective spiritual path, I'd like to talk about something called the hero's journey. The hero's journey is the common template of most all stories in the world, from our most ancient mythological stories up to the modern ones. The hero's journey was actually a term that was coined by the scholar Joseph Campbell, who studied comparative mythology from time and culture all across the world. And throughout Joseph Campbell's studies, he discovered time and again that no matter where in place or in time a human tribe lived, its stories were always pretty much the same. Why? Because there are universal things that define the human experience. And our consciousness comes from a universal divine source. Every story we tell, whether it's the Odyssey, Star Wars, Grimm's fairy tales, or the Wizard of Oz, is telling the same story of the journey of our origin in God to the life experience of living on earth, to the universal inner calling we all experience to return back to source. And we're telling this story again and again because it is imprinted deep within our spiritual psyche. And the archetypal model of the hero's journey, I believe, is a perfect expression of how our inner divine masculine functions throughout our life's journey. You see, there are three main aspects of the hero's journey. The first is departure. The second is initiation. And the third is return. And again, this is the model of the journey every human soul makes. First, we depart from source into this human life and feel called to some purpose or sense of seeking, desire, or adventure. Then we become initiated. Through life experiences, we learn our strengths, meet with helpful guides and mentors, and conquer our limitations to shape the way that we grow. And lastly, we return. We return to the source from which we came when we leave this life behind. Our return to that which is heaven is one in which we have realized God in a whole new capacity of understanding and appreciation because of how much we evolved and expanded our consciousness in the journey of human life. The divine masculine within all of us is the part of you that is very much a unique individual. It is the part of our consciousness that perceives within the human physical realm, wherein we seem to be separate from God, or perhaps from one another, and operating under some spell of amnesia as to where we came from and why we came at all. And now the divine feminine, I remind you, is a part that is still conscious of the divine. It is one with the mystical, with the collective and eternal. It plays a very, very important role on the hero's journey, but we will definitely get to that later. Your divine masculine is the part of you that perceives that you are separate, a separate entity, and it is the part of you that receives the call to adventure and discovery by the divine feminine, the inspirer, or the intuitive aspect of your heart that tells you there is something important to be seen or felt just beyond the horizon, or just beyond those deep woods, or beyond the sea. So the hero, the inner masculine, departs from home on the journey. Luke Skywalker leaves Tatooine, beckoned by the cause to aid the resistance, wherein he discovers the divine force within him that enables him to become a Jedi Master. Dorothy Gale leaves her simple Kansas farm life, where she dreams of something more, something over the rainbow, where the universe sends a tornado to sweep her into Oz. Bilbo Baggins leaves the Shire when the mystical, symbolized by the wizard Gandalf, convinces him to join the adventure of helping the dwarves reclaim the kingdom of Erebor. The inner masculine consciousness begins the journey just begging to be transformed, doesn't it? Most stories involve an initial refusal of the hero, right? So Bilbo initially tries to refuse Gandalf and shut out the invitation because he's comfortable in his hobbit hole. He doesn't want all of that adventure nonsense. He likes the regular. Or Luke Skywalker initially refuses to go because he says he needs to help his aunt and uncle with the farm. This is the human ego, the part of us that gives birth to fear and the concept of limitation in the face of separation and individuality. But eventually, all heroes cross the threshold and go forth on their adventure. No matter how you are living your life, you cannot miss the experience of journeying through each day, meeting new people and experiences wherein you are forever crossing the threshold of the known into the unknown and letting that experience change you. All human beings receive a call to their life's purpose, just as all heroes receive a call to adventure. So then, the hero will experience the initiation, wherein the hero might face many, many trials or challenges. On this path, the hero meets both allies and enemies. This vision quest will most always cause the hero to discover his or her own divine feminine force. In our story, sometimes this is a literal goddess like Odysseus meeting Calypso, or it can be a wise or strong female character like Princess Leia or Glenda the Good Witch. Either way, this is the point in which the hero faces the part of themselves that is connected in some way with divine power, with the wilderness, or with the infinite. Glenda the Good Witch knows that Dorothy's ruby slippers are her superpower that enable her to transcend time and space and travel from one dimension to another. But Glenda knows that Dorothy must discover this power for herself, because that's the whole point of the journey. Glenda intervenes to help Dorothy overcome darkness many times through her journey. She sends snow to undo the sleeping spell of the poppies, but she never intervenes to the extent where she takes the adventure and all the lessons away from Dorothy. This is the same way that the divine intervenes in our own lives. So you've discovered your own call to adventure, your life's purpose, let's say. Perhaps you're embarking on a career, or maybe you're traveling around the world, or raising a child. This journey will test you and transform you. You will find your inner allies. Perhaps you'll find the lifestyle practices, beliefs, or even helping friends or family who will aid you and guide you along the way. And you will meet with your inner enemies, perhaps your fears, your bad habits, maybe self-defeating choices, or people who only serve to distract you or pull you off the path. All the while, through this trial of initiation, you are being guided by the divine feminine within, the wise, intuitive nature within you that keeps driving your inspiration, passion, and purpose. The inner masculine holds on to the divine feminine like a raft, grasping on to the hope and belief that there can be achievement and triumph beyond the horizon. And sometimes, when we're not doing very well, holding on to the life raft, when perhaps we fall asleep in our own field of poppies, the angels intervene. The divine will send some miracle, some person, or some synchronicity to wake you up and ask you to run as fast as your little legs can carry you towards the Emerald City. This is where you discover your strength. This is where you overcome ego and defeat the inner enemies to the extent that you can begin to use your God-given Jedi powers. Joseph Campbell calls this transformational part of the hero's journey the atonement with the Father. The atonement with the Father. And I think this is such a beautiful name for it, because this is the point in the hero's journey, or the spiritual journey of every human being, in which the divine aspect of the masculine rises. In many myths and stories, the hero will confront a father or a father figure or any powerful being or force, male or female, who has the power of life and death, or the power of the universe. This is where we must abandon the ego. Luke Skywalker confronts this in Yoda. Yoda has incredible ability to wield the Force because he is incredibly wise, and pushes Luke to abandon his ego. And this is not easy for Luke. This is not comfortable. But here he learns to overcome his inner enemies of belief in limitation. Now, during the point in your own hero's journey through your own life, it is within the crisis or the challenge phase of the journey where you are asked to open your soul to enlightened consciousness. When the hero meets the Father, it is here that he is cracked open and must abandon his fears, no matter how tragic or awful it feels, in order to find his own strength. In the never-ending story, the hero Atreyu must lose his beloved horse, Artax, in the swamps of sadness in order to find the advisor Morla, the Ancient One. The swamp of sadness is where many of us are stripped bare and forced to find our own inner wise Ancient One, who will tell us how to triumph. In the never-ending story, the Orin protects Atreyu so that he himself does not drown in the swamps of sadness, just as the mystical force of the divine feminine protects all heroes in their darkest hour. Joseph Campbell states that one endures the crisis only to find in the end that the father and the mother reflect each other and are in essence the same. Campbell says that the problem of the hero going to meet the Father is to open his soul beyond terror to such a degree that he will ripen to understand how the tragedies of this vast cosmos are completely validated within the majesty of being. The hero transcends life with its peculiar blind spot, and for a moment rises to a glimpse of the source. He beholds the face of the Father, understands, and the two are atoned. So the final passage of the hero's journey, and the journey of each of our own life's purpose paths, is the return. In most stories, the hero must return to his or her origin to bestow the boon of the adventure onto his fellow man. Luke Skywalker must leave Yoda on the planet Dagobah to use his gift as a Jedi to rescue his friends and complete his mission. We complete the adventure as a different person than the one that we started it as, didn't we? We are transformed and strengthened and thereby rise into the role of empowerment during the return. Perhaps we're transformed into a divine aspect of the masculine as embodied by the benevolent leader or the father. Anyway, it turns out when we reach the return, we are strong because there is an unshakable balance that has been struck between the divine feminine and masculine. We remain connected to and forever changed by the mystical through our awakened divine feminine, and can now wield that same power, that divine power, very, very wisely through the awakened divine masculine. This is the part of the journey where a transcendental hero like Jesus or Gautama Buddha become an enlightened leader. We tell the same story over and over again in so many ways because the spiritual programming within the deepest, most original part of our consciousness is narrating our universal destiny. So keep exploring, keep adventuring. The force within you that compels you to do this is the same force that is leading you into realization of God. So let's celebrate the divine masculine today with a little guided meditation. In masculine energy fashion, we will be using this meditation as an example exercise in developing focus, which is a force that we all need to complete our life's purpose. So if you are in the right environment to do so, you can go ahead and get nice and relaxed and comfortable, closing your eyes and taking in several long and deep healing breaths. Noticing the beating of your heart as it shifts into beautiful relaxation. Feeling every muscle and joint of the body softening. And surrendering into the majesty of being. Simply observing the present moment. As you continue to breathe, allow your mind to grow very still. It's okay if thoughts move through you. Simply observe them and let them go without attachment, without judgment. Breathe deeply and visualize that there is a sparkling white ball of light in the center of your mind. Breathing deeply, gaze into this ball of white light. Keep your focus here, and if your thoughts wander, return to the ball of light. We will stay here, still and focused, for just about a minute together. If you need to do so, remind yourself to continue to breathe deeply, relaxing into the stillness and letting everything go. All there is this present moment. Breathe and gaze into the white light. Now, ask your heart to show you some cause or purpose to which you feel passionately drawn. Just ask your heart, what matters to you most? And listen for the answer. Now, ask your heart, how can I achieve that? What journey lies ahead of me? Breathe and observe the answer that rises from your heart. Good. Now breathe deeply, relax, and allow as you focus on the purpose that your soul has spoken to you. With your next deep breath, repeat the following thoughts with your heart. I am perfectly focused and committed to my life's purpose now. I invite the angels and spirit guides to intervene on my path so that I may discover my power and achieve my dreams. And so it is. Feel the energy of this beautiful focus and commitment expanding in the center of your heart. It begins to spin and spin in a ball of big, strong white light that gradually expands out of your heart to encase your entire energy body in this whirlwind of beautiful self-empowerment. The energy of your focus and commitment moves just outside of you, floating from your heart into the universe around you, creating beautiful miracles as your dreams come to fruition. With your next deep breath, gather your energy back into your physical body in the here and now, breathing in through the top of the head, gathering the breath into the belly, and exhaling that energy and presence down into the legs and the feet, into the earth. One more deep breath. We're just going to gather our presence within, breathing in, and on the exhale, gently opening the eyes, feeling your energy and your presence fully returning, rushing into your fingers and your toes, feeling all of your spiritual presence gathering into the present moment, here and now, alive, awake, aware, and ready. Good. Thank you so much for connecting with me in that little moment of healing and meditation together. Now is my favorite time. We are going to accept some of your calls and texts for reading requests or any questions you'd like to ask. So you can call in at 240-979-6366. That's 240-979-6366. Today, I'm working with the Archetype cards by Caroline Mace and the Keepers of the Light Oracle cards by Kyle Gray. So let's go to our reading requests. We already have a few that are in. So let's go to our first one. We have a first reading request from Vanessa, and she says that she feels that there is so much out there that is waiting for her to act on. Oh, very good. She says that she's seeing a lot of synchronicities in numbers and letter sequences around her, and it's getting really, really powerful, and it still is. She says that she wants to know what message that she might be missing. She's asking, what might she be doing wrong? Is it my guardian angel speaking to me? She's wondering, what message are they trying to get across? Am I stepping onto the right spiritual path that I want to walk on? If not, how can I follow my guides? Is that too much? No, it's not too much, dear Vanessa. That's the perfect question. I love it. So I love your question, Vanessa, because this is amazing. It's actually very much in theme with what we were just talking about. It's all about life purpose for you right now. I'm hearing that there are two angels around you. They've just spoken their names. You've got two archangels who are really, really closely watching over your path. And there's also some guardian angels that are with you as well. So the archangels that are really close right now are Archangel Gabriel and Archangel Chamuel. Both of them are looking to help you find the way that you are meant to serve in your spiritual path the most. And Gabriel particularly is highlighting that you have very strong nurturing abilities and you are a passionate communicator. You are a very, very good communicator, and that you have a voice or a message that you have the ability to send out into the world, which is very exciting. Chamuel is here saying that you are to be led from your heart. And is also, Chamuel is great because Chamuel is the finding angel. Chamuel helps us to oversee all of the highest perspectives available to us in our lives. So you can call in Gabriel and Chamuel. Now, the guardian angel who is working with you very, very close. Okay, I'm hearing a nickname that you can call your angel by. Sam. Sam is one of the angels. This angel has a much longer name. You might listen to it and it sounds very long, but the nickname for it, the shortened version of it, is Sam. So we're going to just let these angels and guides that are with you communicate. Right away, they're actually sweeping it away, and they're telling us that, yes, they have been trying to reach out and communicate with you. They do want you to know that number sequences, messages, and also they're saying spoken messages that come to you through other people that you might meet or along your path are all prompted from them. They are sending you very, very strong messages. One of the main ones, particularly I feel Gabriel getting across to you, is that you have spiritual gifts and that they want you to open up your intuitive abilities a little bit more, because through opening up your intuitive abilities, they want you to know that you will be greatly expanding the amount of compassion and love that you have for the human race. You already have a lot of that, Vanessa. I can really feel that. And they're sharpening it. Not to overwhelm you, of course, but just to help you to really pinpoint some strong insight, spiritual insight on ways that we can shift the world. Particularly, it's interesting, but I keep feeling the angels pointing to global issues, world issues, or things that seem to collectively affect many people in this world. You have the ability to speak to a lot of these greater issues or things going on in the world so that we can create a real sense of healing. So I'm turning over your cards right now just to see what the angels specifically want to guide you towards right now on your path. Okay. Your first card is amazing because it already reflects what Archangel Gabriel already showed us. These cards are from the Keepers of the Light deck, and the first card is the Mercury card, representing open communication. So Mercury is the divine archetype of communication. It's the planet of communication and also the god, if you think of the pantheon, of communication, representing the messenger of the gods. So this is saying that you are a messenger for the gods as well. You are a messenger for divine communication. And this is why the angels are sending you this little trail of breadcrumbs so that you can continue to open up your third eye and your spiritual abilities, particularly around your clairsentience and empathy, so that you can bring love and answers into the world. So let's go ahead and see our second card. We have the Freya card. Freya representing phases and cycles. Phases and cycles. So what the angels want you to know is that this is actually just the beginning of a very, very exciting journey for you, Vanessa. A very exciting journey of spiritual growth and coming into your intuitive powers. So what this card represents is that for now, your highest purpose or your highest focus is to be on self-empowerment, self-healing, and personal growth. Because as you really become the master of you, of your own desires and feelings and goals and dreams and, spiritual abilities, all of these kinds of things, then you'll be given the next homework assignment by your guides. They just want to deeply awaken you and connect with you and have you blossom up to them so that they can clearly communicate with regard to who you are. So let's see what the final card is. Our final card is the Ascended Master Almoria, with the message, awakening presence. Awakening presence. That's amazing. This is just so cool how it's like the angels have already told us all of what these cards are going to be, and we're just seeing the messages appear as a confirmation when we turn these cards over. So awakening presence, that's the awakening of your divine presence, the awakening of your inner empowerment. I see a lot of spiritual memory coming to you because the angels want you to remember that you have spiritual gifts that you've actually practiced in previous lifetimes and a spiritual contract to nurture and to heal in this world that you made even before you were born. So call on your angels, practice opening your third eye more, and you're doing everything right as long as you continue to follow those steps. That's what your angels want you to know. You'll get more later, and you're going to use your gift to speak a very beautiful message that is going to be a light for many people in the world. So thank you, Vanessa, for your question. Let's go and see who is next. Okay. We have several here. We're going to go to Robert. Robert says that he has been led down a new path of spirituality that is completely foreign and feels very new. Oh, good. Congratulations, Robert. That's very, very exciting. I remember when that happened to me many years ago. It's an exciting time. So he says, nevertheless, he feels the leading very, very, very strongly. Spirit is leading him. He says if I could tell him anything about this course in his life right now, or if the angels would have anything to communicate about this direction that he's walking. Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys, we have such a theme today. This is all hero's journey stuff. This is all life purpose stuff. Amazing. So Robert, the angels are guiding me to pull some cards for you. And I'm just going to tune in and see who is around you. First of all, Michael. Archangel Michael is with you very, very strong. He's pointing to you and he's saying, he is one of me. He's saying he is like a brother. He is a brother in arms. He works with me. So Michael's purpose is to eradicate fear and to create a force of protection and righteousness and goodness in the world, to help eradicate fear all over with light. And light symbolizes what in human consciousness? Knowledge, awakening, perspective, consciousness, presence. So through knowledge and awakening, enlightenment, we eradicate fear by knowing the truth, by being able to see it in the light. We eradicate fear. This is a big part of your purpose. Robert, Archangel Michael is showing us that you have a big expanded mind and that through intellectual downloads, you are receiving a lot of messages from the divine. Particularly, Michael says he'll be leading you to a lot of books, lectures, knowledge, that kind of thing. Any resource you're sent by Archangel Michael, know that this is a big part of your path to soak up the knowledge. He's also showing me images of you writing, Robert. I'm seeing an image of your handwriting, and he's showing us that you actually have, you may not know it, but you have spiritual intuitive gifts. They just come in a way that almost makes it seem like it's our own thoughts coming through. And that is called claircognizance. clear thinking. So when we have clear cognizance like you do, we oftentimes are very, very smart, very have an intellectual leaning, and you have the ability to just sort of be downloaded with intellectual blocks of knowledge that just come flowing through you. And you might not always know from where or why. And again, sometimes it just seems like our own inspiration, but it's being co-created or inspired by your angels and your guides. So write, read and study and listen. The angels want you to know. And now let's turn over our cards and ask them what we need to see with your journey. Ooh, okay. So I pulled these cards from the Archetypes deck by Caroline Myss, and the first card is the Trickster card. I love the role of the trickster in mythology and stories all over. This is actually a very powerful archetype. It represents someone who's kind of one with the chaos or one with the divine, sort of the wilderness. They're one with the forces of the universe kind of thing. And so they're very unpredictable. And sometimes they're up to mischief, or they catalyze us to do something different. What the trickster card represents for you is transcending convention or predictability and that kind of thing, or the tried and true regular path that people sometimes feel pressured to follow by their conditioning growing up, and to transcend it. You're asking people to go beyond that norm and to follow their true self. The angels are saying that you'll be very good at discovering passion and finding that, gosh, it's so important for the world to follow a path where we're each following our own passion the most. We're not supposed to follow the mold of someone else. If someone asks you to go out and get some kind of a job just because it's more secure or stable, or it's going to get you money or something like that, the angels are saying that that's not the path to go. The path to go is to follow your passion and your drive, because that's going to bring you the most success, the most soul fulfillment, and bring the most good to the world. That saves the world in a way, as everybody is true to themselves, is true to their passion. So you're kind of mastering that in your own life, Robert, and the angels are guiding you to actually even inspire others to do so, it feels like. Their second card is the Advocate card. Ooh, this is a good one. So this represents putting compassion into action. You are someone who is meant to put your big ideas into action as either part of someone else's movement or in your own kind of movement to make a positive change. So that's really exciting. So definitely listen to the causes that you feel most drawn to, or the ideas you feel most drawn to. The angels are asking you to advocate for those things in the world. Now, the final thing that we are seeing, so this is another very powerful thing about your life purpose. We have a card called the Addict card. Don't be scared by that. I know that there's some not so friendly sounding cards that come out of this deck, but what this actually really represents, the light side of the addict, or the empowering symbol that this represents, is the ability to actually recognize and confront limiting behavior. The ability to liberate people from limitations. It's so funny we pulled this card because Archangel Michael is actually one of the most powerful angels for overcoming addiction. And that doesn't just mean, things that we normally think of in terms of addiction, like alcohol or drugs or, something like that. It can be addiction to your own thought patterns, your own limiting choices or ideas about what you're capable of doing. And, those kinds of things, you've got the ability to overcome, or to help other people to overcome the big things. It's like we're knocking down the old walls with you. So you may see those themes really showing up, Robert, and bless you on that journey. That's going to be very exciting. Okay, we've got lots of requests for readings in. So we're going to go to, it looks like we have a caller on. Terry has called in. Hi, Terry. Where are you calling us from today?
Hi, it's actually Tarek. It's like Derek, but with a T. And I'm calling from
okay.
Mexico. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And what would you like to ask us today?
Well, I had the things I've been mostly struggling with, or I guess I'm at work with, is just my life's work is just progress. I feel like I've been constantly seeking spirituality and meditation, and a lot of ways to seek progress. And I don't know if you've seen the movie Before I Fall. But it's about a movie that it's about a girl that repeats her day, and she has the same she perceives the day of how she lives life the same. And like I see that like kind of like an analogy of like how I see like like necessarily like the best positive way, but like somehow I don't see the progress in the way of like as well like financially or like my work, like the things that I do. So it's kind of like the things that I would like to have the reading about, like just
Yes.
progress, confidence, and knowing that I'm on the right path, like knowing I'm making the correct decisions, because sometimes like I don't see like the progress. Like I see a lot of my friends and a lot of my coworkers like just like focusing on like buying like products, materialistic stuff, and like for some reason I don't tend to do that a lot, and I don't tend to like just go out a lot or go out to parties. But at the time I try to balance it out, but I sometimes seem like just want to make sure like I'm making the correct decisions and doing the things that I'm like feeling inside are going to get me to the places I want to be.
Yes. Amazing. So this is wonderful. We really do have such a theme. Everybody has big calling to life purpose going on today. So Tarek, for you, the first thing that the angels I'm hearing say to you is this: that you are in this world, but not necessarily of it. So remember that when there are things around you that seem to maybe pull you towards, let's say, distractions or things like that, remember that that's not the extent of your life. If you look at the limitations that seem to be in the always changing forms around us, whether it's financially, whether it's anything, that is not the true you. The true you is this infinite force that absolutely does have the power to create anything that you want to achieve. And what the angels are saying now for you is that actually, yes, you are on the right path right now when it comes to career and life purpose path. They want you to know that there is a way forward to finding great success, both in the feedback that you get with human beings and the experiences, the impact that you make, and of course, financially. And the angels are saying, don't ever think, for all of us listening, that, to focus on financial success is, ever not a good thing, that it's ever, not a spiritual thing to do. It is, because you deserve the success and you need the success in order to help as many people as possible. In the end, the success and everything that comes with it, including the money, is not about, the human ego or anything like that. If we're not making it about that, it's about the ability to help people. It's about the ability to put as much kind, benevolent, connected to spirit people as possible in charge and able to influence, so that we make the world a better place. So the angels are right now saying, give yourself permission to be wildly successful, because that is what you're meant to do, and it's good for you. It's a part of your destiny. Otherwise, you wouldn't have that as a focus in your mind, or as I want that. I want that. We all want that in a way. But for you specifically, the angels are saying you'll use the influence to help. So I pulled a few cards for you just to ask a little bit about, the specifics of this journey and what needs to be done. And oh gosh, even before I turn these cards over, the angels are already giving us a little piece of guidance. They're saying this. They're saying no matter what path anyone chooses to be on in terms of their career, you could be making cupcakes, for goodness sakes, but you could still make $1 million off of it, right? You could still be really successful. It's just about how you put it into the world. And, maybe it's making people's day better. Maybe it's generating more joy. And all things, no matter how seemingly insignificant, even if it's just a cupcake, maybe it has the ability to bring more light and more good and more joy. Maybe it has the ability for you to be a vehicle of positivity and change, no matter, again, what it is. So we're turning over our cards, and our first card for you is the Alchemist card. Wow. So the Alchemist represents someone who can transform lead into gold, or someone who can transform challenges, limitations, or heavy negative things into positive, infinitely valuable, wonderful things. And that's the current phase of life that you're in right now. The angels are saying to make your consciousness, to continue to do this, a transformation of, past heaviness or past seeming limitation or distraction into gold, into spiritual connectedness, which you're already doing, they're saying, and to keep doing it. That's really helping you. The seeking is helping you. And then to use that transformation to transform the actions and the materials around you, the impact that you make around you. Again, you are on the right path and you're going to make a difference. Eventually, the angels keep showing us that there are young people that seem to be inspired by you, young people, children, and that sort of thing, looking for a role model. So just know that may play a little role somewhere down the road. And then your last cards you have the Seeker card, which is amazing. And you also have the Feminine card, the Divine Feminine card. I love this. So the Seeker card, the Seeker represents thirst for wisdom and knowledge, thirst for truth. They want you to know that your way for real success is to create incredible content and integrity in what you create in the world, no matter how big or no matter how small the gesture. So that means to have a sense of, I really believe in what I'm doing. I really know what I'm doing. And I really have taken my knowledge of this to the deepest expression that it can be. And that real sense of I've rooted into wisdom and truth with this inspires other people. And again, even if it's just I've baked a cupcake and I'm trying to make an empire out of doing that, or it's, whatever we could imagine, even if it's just a t-shirt, if you've got that sense of truth and inspiration and light in your eyes, everyone around you will be inspired by it. Everyone around you will do whatever to become vehicles to taking you to success with it. So that is the first thing. It's, transform, find the truth or the deep sense of content and inspiration. And that takes you to our last card, which is, again, Divine Feminine, which leads us back to the same message, inspiration. It's all about inspiration and connectedness to source in the end. And also they're saying expressing yourself. They're saying don't do this path the same way that anyone else ever has. It's important for you to just be you and uniquely, individually you, because that's what's going to get you noticed more. That's what's going to get people to push you up in the world, is seeing the individual that you are. Yes, very exciting. Any thoughts or reactions to that so far?
Yeah, well, pretty much, it just gives me like more, how would I say? Yeah, like confidence that I'm on the right path, which is just really what sometimes I like feel like I need. Because yeah, it's just like a season that you obviously are like, not reaping what you sow yet, but I guess like it's just that assurance that I require.
Yes, and you absolutely will reap what you sow. Just deepen and deepen and deepen what you have sown. Just, there are people that sing to the seeds that they've planted in the ground in addition to watering it and making sure it gets enough sunlight. Be one of those people. And that really makes these dreams come true. I see it. It's successful.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, thank you so much,
so
Terry,
much
for calling in today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and let's go ahead and see if we can fit in just one more reading for today. Let's see. Oh gosh, we have a lot, so I'm just going to kind of do a random lottery and see who would like something. Okay, let's see. There is one coming in from Sarah. She says, "Hi, my name is Sarah. It's great that your topic is about the divine masculinity. I recently met someone who I feel a strong soul connection with, and it's very intense because he brings up a lot of stuff for me that needs healing. Do you have any insight?" Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. So right away, you've got Archangel Raphael and Gabriel with you, Sarah. And these angels are here to let you know that, yes, this relationship is a soulmate relationship, and not all soulmate relationships are easy. They're not all cupcakes and roses and easy things. It's sometimes, not so easy things. Sometimes it's, being triggered to looking in the mirror and seeing the most difficult aspects of ourselves or what we see in the world. And the angels want you to know that that's a good thing because it's catalyzing you. It's catalyzing you essentially to change your relationship with yourself. And that's really, really good. So that's the big, actually, piece of guidance that I'm seeing your angels give you. They're holding up a mirror in front of you, particularly Archangel Gabriel here, and saying, look deep, deep, deep into yourself. Every time you feel triggered within this relationship, the angels want you to ask yourself very powerfully, how do I feel in this? How does this really, really make me feel? How does it resonate? Not thinking anything about people pleasing or doing what people expect me to do. I'm just thinking, how does this resonate for me? And then discover wow, and what does this situation reveal about me? What does this trigger reveal about what I fear, what I desire, who I am, what's vulnerable in me? This is the path to kind of redesigning the self. The angels are also saying, be sure to keep with that idea of I know who I am and I know what I want, keep a strong sense of personal boundaries around what you want. Because even though this person, I actually do feel a lot of positive coming in this, even people with the best intentions can sometimes unknowingly cross a boundary. So given what you know, make sure that you prioritize what it is that you need out of life and out of this relationship the most, and make sure that you demand that and trust that as you demand that, the chips will fall where they may and lead you to the exact right outcome for this relationship. Your first card for this is the Charity card, which is actually a card that just represents going into prayer and contemplation. So that's just what the angels told us. Contemplate, look in the mirror, take some time alone, go on a walk on your own if you need to really think things out and connect with heaven. The second card is Cernunnos with the message Life Force. Life force. So this is actually asking us to express your own passion, find your own driving passion, the thing that's behind your very life force. What makes your heart beat? What do you desire and believe in the most? This relationship is asking you to say it, to prioritize it, to live it, and to breathe it. The final card that came up is the Radha card, representing soul flame, which is such a synchronicity, Sarah, because, oh my gosh, yes, this relationship is a soulmate relationship. It's saying that this is a relationship through which you have the power to rediscover a part of yourself, to get into deeper harmony with yourself. No matter where the relationship goes, no matter what form the relationship takes, it's all about discovering you. And even for this other person, it's about him discovering himself too. So thank you so much to everybody who called and texted in. It was so wonderful to connect with you, and I can't wait to do that again next month. So remember, of course, that I'll be live every month on the Bring Me to Life Network, bringing you, of course, our spiritual discussions and angel readings. You can mark your calendars for Thursday, November 15th for our next live episode. And of course, this podcast is also available to listen to on Spotify, on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and Stitcher. I will be posting the YouTube links for the podcast on my social media pages. So if you'd like to listen again or share with a friend, you can go ahead and follow me on social media. And I'll also be sharing it now on my website at sarahhall.com. You just need to go into the podcast area of my website. Follow the Bring Me to Life tribe for more inspiring talk radio, music, and so much more. And thank you again for your presence today. All of my love to you. Bye.